Hey Mystery Crew, it's Mystery Girl with Missy and Mystery Sister Sally. Welcome back, guys. If you're new here, welcome here for the first time. We want to say thank you to everyone for all of your continued support and always hitting that like button. We also want to say, if you haven't subscribed yet, slam that subscribe button now. Guys, we have up our content warning because some of the material here in our videos may be traumatizing to some, and we also have up our copyright disclaimer for the videos and the pictures that we use throughout our series or an individual video. So we're going to move forward with our video, but take a look at what's to come. Hey Mystery Crew, it's Missy. I am coming to you because there is an update on the Gilgo Beach, Long Island serial killer murders. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know I've been researching this since 1996. A long time. Sally started helping me research last year as so much information was coming out, and I am so thankful for that. Yesterday, which was May 20th, the investigators returned to Rex's home. Now, Rex was arrested last July 14th, so he is currently in prison. They've already done a full-blown investigation and search of this home, taking out amazing amount of stuff from the home. So what could possibly still be there is very interesting to me. I kind of wonder, was there a lead, or did they find something when they were doing the Manorville searches 2 to 3 weeks ago? If you remember, there was 4 bodies found. Now, these news reports report 2 because they're the females, but we have to remember that there was also 2 unidentified males there. So for some reason, they just do not mention those males. And they were also decapitated and found in different parts of the area around there. Now, like I said, the investigation yesterday, it started between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m., depending on which news station you were watching or reporting. So they're saying, some said that they got there at 8 a.m. with the warrant. The daughter was home and left, and the investigation started between 8 and 9 a.m. Now, others state that she was out of town with her mother and brother. Others state that she was just home and left and went away at that point. So it's very interesting on the different views of what was going on with the daughter. Now, it was also stated that the mother and the son were in, I believe it was North Carolina. So it's very convenient that Asa just happens to be, or Asa, however you want to pronounce her name, she just happens to be out of state, out of town, every time something goes on. It's way too convenient. So again, they got to the house about 8 a.m. They did have a search warrant. So it started between 8 and 9 a.m. They set up their command posts, which are the white tents that you'll see in the videos. And it's for Nassau and Suffolk police. In the videos, you will also see that forensic crews are there, state troopers are there, a medical examiner is there, which is extremely, extremely interesting to me. Why is there a medical examiner? They are looking for something absolutely specific, guys. So I think we're about to see something truly blow up here. And I don't want to report on what I think they're saying. So in this video, I'm including a whole bunch of different news reports on what was going on there, because I don't want to report and say certain things without having the receipts to back me up. So again, I said Asa is in North Carolina, supposedly, with her son. And supposedly her daughter was at home and left at 8 a.m. when the police showed up. Other reports state that she is out of town with her mother and brother, and that she wasn't home. So that's a little contradicting. I don't know which one is true. Different stations are saying different things. So in the videos, you will see the police presence bringing in large empty boxes into the house. They also have like those file boxes that they're bringing into the house, along with those large plastic bins. They remind me of the large green bins that everybody uses for garbage. So they had a couple of those there, and they were going into the home and investigating. Now, attorney Michael Brown, who is Rex's attorney, when reporters reached out to him, he did not respond to reporters. I know there is some talk out there that it might have been James Burke attorney who was not reaching back, but it is not James Burke whose attorney is not reaching back out. It's Rex's attorney who's not reaching back out. So if you guys remember, about 2 weeks ago, they were back in Manorville, and now all of a sudden they are back at Rex Heuermann's house, which makes me wonder, what did they find out in that area of Manorville when they were searching? And the other thing that it keeps popping into my head is Dr. Hatchett's connection to the Manorville area. Now, people say that Dr. Hatchett is 100, Hackett, I call him Hatchett, sorry. So people are saying that he is 100% innocent, he's not guilty. Guys, he had connections in Manorville, which I will not disclose because I do have information out to authorities. So I am, and lawyers in New York, so I will not be disclosing what those connections were. But he does have connections in the Manorville area. Now, they also have John Bitloff on there, who was arrested years ago for the murder of 2 women in the Patchogue area out east. And he does have connections to Burlap. And that's why he has been considered somewhat of a connection throughout this investigation. The other thing we need to remember is they keep mentioning that there is a new person that they are investigating because of the initials on the belt. Guys, we need to remember that those initials on the belt are the initials of Rex Heuermann's grandfather. Okay, and that they do have hair from, I believe it was Asa and Rex. So if that belt belonged to somebody else, why is there hair on that belt if that belt did not belong to them? We need to start thinking practically here. They're trying to say that there's another person, and that's coming from Rex Heuermann's attorney. Okay, but back it up. Why is Rex's or Ace's hair on that belt? So there is no way that that can belong to somebody else unless it's a family member, you know, and maybe they were working in connection with Rex. I think there are many more people involved in this than they are trying to admit. They just keep talking about the Gilgo 4. Guys, we need to remember how many bodies were found on that beach, and that Peaches and Cherries and the 2 men still do not have an identity. And poor baby Peaches. Peaches' baby still does not have an identity. They are still John and Jane Does, and they are not spoken about. The investigation on them is not continuing, and it is really disturbing that just because they might have found somebody for the Gilgo 4, that they're not continuing to look for the rest. They have names, they have families, they have loved ones. Just because the career that they were in does not mean that they were not people, did not have hearts, did not have families, children. They need to have justice served for them too, so they can at some point rest in peace. So the continuation of the search for their murderers, who is probably 100% connected to Rex Heuermann and whatever else is going on there with everybody else, it needs to continue. James Burke needs to be looked into. The priest who lived next to her, Shannon's John, that guy needs to be looked in because he has connections to Rex Heuermann. Okay? The Dr. Hackett, I always call him Hatchet, sorry. He needs to be looked into. He has connections again to Manorville. There are so many people. The driver, why did he just leave her there? And, not maybe go into a panic, like what happened to her? Where is she? I need to find her. Forget that she was in the profession that she was in and call authorities to help find her. There is so much more to this story than they are getting into. And I think a lot of it is about to come out, but they are still protecting James Burke. And James Burke, if he has a connection to Dr. Hackett and Brewer and the priest, they will be connected too, because if something is disclosed about them, it's going to lead to James Burke. And it just needs to end. They need to stop putting halts on this investigation. They need to get out there and find out about the rest, give the Jane and John Does a name, and finally, give these families some justice, some peace, and let these girls rest in peace. All right, guys, with that said, let's move on to the videos of yesterday's investigation of Rex Heuermann's home. And if I do hear anything about what was going on there, we will bring it to you. So, guys, let's go on to these videos.
Searches on Long Island believed to be linked to another suspected serial killer. The searches are being conducted by the Gilgo Beach Task Force, but authorities are revealing few details. Ariel Reshef is here with that story. Good morning, Ariel.
Good morning to you, Lindsay. With that multi-agency search led by the task force set up to investigate the infamous Gilgo Beach murders, new questions about what authorities are looking for and whether there could be a link to Rex Heuermann, the man charged in the murder of 4 women in that chilling case.
This morning, a deepening mystery as investigators with the Gilgo Beach Task Force scour a wooded area roughly 45 miles east of the infamous Gilgo Beach murder scene. The local DA confirming a multi-agency investigation, but declining to say what exactly they are looking for. Architect Rex Heuermann has been charged in connection with the deaths of 4 women whose bodies were discovered between 2010 and 2011. He denies any wrongdoing. Authorities have said their investigation continues to see if they can link Heuermann to 6 other victims.
You have to place the killer there or have a connection there.
Law enforcement remaining tight-lipped on the focus of their expanded search, but it is happening near where the body of 28-year-old Sandra Castilla was discovered in November of 1993. Her murder remains unsolved. Last week, K9 units, drones, and squad cars descending on the thick brush of Manorville, New York, where 2 victims of another convicted serial killer, John Bittrolff, were found in the early 90s. Bittrolff had been looked at as a suspect in the Gilgo Beach murders and in the death of Castilla, but investigators have so far been unable to connect him to any additional victims.
The whole key in going to these other locations is to identify remains if they find any, and what forensic information they could find that could potentially tie it to this particular killer or to someone else.
Now, it is still unclear what led investigators back to that area or if they have found anything relevant to the Gilgo Beach murder investigation, but Manorville has come up in connection with the Gilgo Beach murders in the past after the remains of a woman were found there in 2003. Rex Heuermann is due back in court in June. Again, he denies any wrongdoing, but so much more to come here. We will be pressing for answers.
Such a mystery. All right, Ariel, thank you so much.
Home of accused Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex Heuermann. Investigators are again searching his house in Massapequa Park.
It is unclear what exactly they are looking for today. Heuermann has pleaded not guilty in the murder of 4 women whose bodies were all found in a marshy area in Gilgo Beach.
Eyewitness News reporter Darla Miles is live in Massapequa Park with the very latest. Darla.
David, Sandra, this search this morning comes as a huge surprise to everyone, including attorneys for Rex Heuermann and his wife, Asa Ellerup. As you can see over my right shoulder, the Gilgo Beach Task Force has an extensive operation underway, very similar to what we saw 10 months ago. You can get a closer look at that operation from Newscopter 7, which was over the scene earlier this morning, where you can see a command post has been set up, as well as several tents in the front yard of this home here on 105 1st Avenue in Massapequa Park. From the ground level, you see officers going in and out of the home as they begin this search for new evidence. We're told that the search warrant was executed around 7 o'clock this morning, and the daughter of Rex Heuermann, his 26-year-old daughter, was home at the time. His wife, Asa Ellerup, we're told by her attorney, is out of state, was not home at the time, but we do know that she rendered this home. They filed a lawsuit after the 12-day search last year, talking about the extensive damage, how the home had been ransacked after that search, and how it was pretty much uninhabitable. Now, just 2 weeks ago, we learned that the Gilgo Beach Task Force would be expanding its investigation into other unsolved deaths on Long Island. It is unclear if this is part of that as well, but we do know that Rex Heuermann has been arrested for the Gilgo 4. There are still 6 of those deaths that have yet to go solved. He is a suspect in a 5th death, but has not been indicted at the time. Back here live on the scene, again, an extensive operation underway by the Gilgo Beach Task Force, a major operation, including a command post, several tents outside of the home. The block on 1st Avenue is closed off. His attorney, the attorney for Rex Heuermann, we did reach out. They declined to comment, but he is expected back in court the first week of June. For now, reporting live in Massapequa Park, Darla Miles, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Darla. In the Gilgo Beach murder case, investigators returned to the Long Island home of accused serial killer Rex Heuermann today for yet another extensive search related to this case. And good afternoon, I'm David Navarro.
I'm Sandra Bookman, in today for Liz. Heuermann has pleaded not guilty to killing 4 women whose bodies were found in a marshy stretch close to Gilgo Beach. The renewed interest in Heuermann's home comes as investigators try to solve the deaths of 6 other Gilgo victims.
Eyewitness News reporter Darla Miles is live in Massapequa Park with the very latest. Darla.
Raise it up a little bit.
David, Sandra, this is like July 2023 all over again. You can see all of these investigators here at the home of Rex Heuermann. If you look on the front porch of the home, you can see cardboard boxes stacked all the way to the ceiling of that front porch. The Gilgo Beach Task Force now working to solve any unsolved deaths here on Long Island. They say they're going wherever the investigation leads them. Well, today, it led them back to the home of Rex Heuermann. The Gilgo Beach Task Force embarking on an extensive search at the home of Rex Heuermann. The search warrant executed at 9 a.m. Monday.
Investigations evolve, new information comes in, and as that new information comes in, it becomes necessary to take additional steps, and that's what we're doing.
A command station for the New York State Police and Suffolk County Police parked outside of the Massapequa Park home on 1st Avenue. 2 white tents set up in the front yard, and forensic crews spotted assembling cardboard boxes near large blue plastic bins, presumably for more evidence collection.
It's part of the Gilgo Task Force, and so it's part of the ongoing investigation with regard to both charged and uncharged crimes.
The operation an utter surprise after an exhaustive 12-day search last July, when the 60-year-old architect was identified as a suspect in the 13-year-old cold case and charged in the deaths of 4 of the victims, or the Gilgo 4.
Oh, they were out in Manorville, I know, like a week or 2 ago. I've been following it since 2010, so it kind of felt like a victory last year when we found out who it was. It was kind of like the mystery was over, we knew.
The renewed interest in Heuermann's home comes as investigators continue to try to solve the deaths of the the other 6 Gilgo victims, and a month after the Gilgo Beach Task Force conducted several searches in Manorville, that wooded area connected to John Bittroff, who was convicted in the 1990s deaths of 2 women and a suspect in the murder of a third. How any of this might be connected remains to be seen.
And I think it's part of the same investigation. And again, there are necessary investigative steps that need to be taken.
Barnwood boxes, they're setting up.
Now, those investigators.
Today, a team of investigators returned to the Long Island home of the suspect, Rex Heuermann. They surrounded the house in Massapequa Park and were seen setting up search areas and taking out boxes of potential evidence. CBS 2's Jennifer McLogan there now with the latest details. Jennifer.
Good evening. Nearly 1 year after the arrest, and we were all standing right here. The homicide task force at the Gilgo Beach has returned, this time with new warrants and a new search for Rex Heuermann's house, the house where he grew up here in Massapequa Park.
This is kind of distracting for the whole neighborhood, seeing this over and over again. This is the second time this is going on. And when are we going to put this to rest? When is this going to end?
What are they searching for? Massapequa Park neighbors of accused serial killer Rex Heuermann want to know. Sidewalks and streets filled with the curious, many expressing anxiety as crime scene labs moved in and streets blocked off by state police.
Rex's house once again, so don't know what it is, what they found.
Chopper 2 overhead as a large police presence swarmed the Heuermann red bungalow on First Avenue. Investigators moved boxes past Crime Command buses into concealed white tents. Heuermann's held without bail at the Suffolk County Jail. His family's not at home. Estranged wife Asa Ellerup and both grown children are out of town. They've never been implicated in the Gilgo Beach serial murders.
I can't believe what's going on here right now.
Last July, hundreds of weapons were seized here from Heuermann's basement vault. And just 3 weeks ago, the task force searched woodlands in Manorville. That same task force, along with a Suffolk medical examiner, are here now. More evidence bags carried out.
We've been a great partner with them all along. They executed their warrant this morning. Whatever their warrant calls for, they're going to go in and retrieve whatever's needed and then turn it back over to the courts.
Do you anticipate any additional arrests?
If they're going back to do a search warrant, they have a great part of their investigation that they're still working on.
Heuermann's pleaded not guilty to the murders of 4 sex workers whose remains were found near Gilgo Beach 13 years ago. DNA from a pizza box, burner phones, and cell site data linked the Manhattan architect to the killings, say prosecutors. Did possible evidence seized in Manorville tie them to the Heuermann case? We have not been told. Rex Heuermann is back in court June 18th. We're live in Massapequa Park. Jennifer McLogan, CBS 2 News.
Suspect Rex Heuermann's home, once again the site of investigators as they search his property.
That's right. It's unclear what they're looking for at this point, but the scene is causing a stir in the neighborhood. A lot of people say they've seen this all before. Good Day's Lizette Nunez is outside the home in Massapequa Park, Long Island, with more. Lizette, any idea what they're looking for?
That's still not clear, Dan. Police are keeping pretty tight-lipped. But yes, this is a scene that is all too familiar for neighbors. They are tired of the police presence and as well as members of the media. But here we are once again. We do know at some point yesterday, the daughter of Rex Heuermann was here at some point. She has since left and is staying elsewhere.
Oh my God, this is all over again. It feels like yesterday this happened.
Neighbors in Massapequa Park feeling a sense of deja vu as police once again descended at the home of accused serial killer Rex Heuermann.
I think this is a surprise to everybody.
The medical examiner remained parked outside of the Red home Monday morning. Investigators raised white tents and could be seen throughout the day with large evidence bags. Police would not say why they're back and what they're looking for.
It's very disruptive.
We just want to know why.
Experts say this multi-agency search involving the Gilgo Beach Task Force is likely for something specific. Heuermann's estranged wife, Asa Alarip, and their son are in South Carolina, according to Alarip's attorney. The daughter was at the home when police arrived. The last time detectives were here was 10 months ago. They turned the property inside out and dug up the backyard as they searched for clues tying the accused murderer to the 4 women whose remains were found near Gilgo Beach. Heuermann has already been charged with the deaths of 4 women: Melissa Bartholomew, Megan Waterman, Amber Lynn Costello, and Maureen Brainerd Barnes. Heuermann has been in custody since he was arrested last July and has maintained his innocence.
I just hope they have something to end this thing and put it to rest. And we don't want this in our area, just constantly over and over again coming to search this guy's house. Either find something or don't.
So police were also searching in Manorville, Long Island about 3 weeks ago. The remains of 2 women were found there, but they have not been tied back to Rex Heuermann. As far as Heuermann, he will be back in court on June 18th. That's the latest here from Massapequa Park, Long Island. We'll send things back inside.
All right, Lizette, thank you very much.
Hey, Mystery Crew, it's Missy again. So what are your thoughts? Let us know what you think about them being out in Manorville 3 weeks ago and searching, and now they're back at the Heuermann house. And with the amount of boxes and bins and police presence, what do you think that they're looking for? Why is a medical examiner there? Are they looking for a body? Like, what's going through my mind right now is that they have obviously some kind of proof that something is there or someone. And again, very convenient that Asa, whatever her name is out of town in North Carolina with her son. What is the truth about the daughter? Was she home or is she with them in Carolina? And doesn't Rex's brother live in Carolina? Very interesting. It's where they found the avalanche. Are they visiting the brother? What is going on? And the connection with Carolina and them being gone at the same exact time that there is a warrant that brings in Suffolk, Nassau medical examiner, state troopers. I want your opinions in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys.